Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Andy Learn and Share. This is Andy again. Based on the feedbacks that I have received from some of you, and also a few of you have emailed me to bring this video how they can prepare for the RPA interviews, because most of the interviewers, they will definitely see how well you have current expertise in the real-time projects and all. So this is the reason I have come up with this video on real-time projects for RPA interviews. Although this is a part one of this particular video, I'll come up with the part two most probably in the next or coming weeks. So let's get started. Before I start, I would like to request you to please kindly share, subscribe, and like my channel, so that whenever I upload a new videos in future, you will get a notification on your YouTube. So how to explain the RPA projects in resume? Uh, Before I could explain the real time RPA projects, I'd like to mention small things here, because I in my previous organization and also in the current organization, sometimes I get a chance to be a part of the interviewer panel, and I have taken more than 20 to 30 interviews in the past 1.5 to 2 years. So I have seen many of the candidates, although they are very good in technology, although they are very good in coding, and although they have very good knowledge in different RPA tools, but what they lack is the uh, proper format of the resume. So this is the reason, although I would say this is one of the best formats in the current market, although there are other formats also, or other ways of portraying yourself in the resume, but this is one of the formats that I have liked very much. So that is the reason this is my small effort for you to explain how can you present yourself in the resume, so that the interviewer, after going through your resume, they feel like taking you in that particular organization. Because first impression is always very important, and the first impression of any candidate is like going through the resume. Because before you guys or before any of the candidate goes for interview, the first thing the interviewer will have is the resume. Before you go for the interview, I mean, whenever you submit the interview, the HR person will give the interview, I mean, sorry, the HR person will hand over this resume to the interviewer, and they'll just go through or they'll kindly scan the details from the resume, and then based on their thoughts and all, they will come up with the interview. So it's very important for you to provide a best resume for the interview. So this is a simple format. As I told you, I have taken this one of the formats because I have liked this format. So the first thing is very important for you to mention your name, mobile number, and email, because that is the place, if you get selected, the HR will contact you over the mobile number and email address. So it is very important for you to give the correct mobile number and email address. And after that, you can give a one para summary, what is the current thing you are doing and what is your expertise. Here it's better, here I suggest you to highlight the best thing you have done, and what are the tools you have done, and what are the kind of certifications you have done. So it is very important for you to give the summary in a brief way, but it should cover the major thing you have done and your area of expertise or your skill sets. After that, you can give your career summary, what you have done in the past organization or in your current organization you can give, and what are your interest, and if you have worked on site, or if you have worked in off site, and what are the different kind of knowledge you have, and what are the experience you have, you can give in this particular RPA career summary. Moving to the next phase. So this is very important thing I want to highlight, because I have seen so many people, they don't know how to present their resume specifically when they mention about their project. So I would suggest you to whatever how much ever number of processes or projects you have walked open, simply give like project number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just give a brief main point or highlights, or what is the name of the client's project title, types, role, duration, application language. It is not advisable always you to give the name of the clients, because some clients, the name of the some clients is very confidential, so you cannot share the client's name. In that case, you can write the name of the client is confidential, and project title you can give, and type of the project you can give, whether it is a full time projects, or whether it was a POC, and what was your what was the role when you were doing that project. Were you the developers, or the senior developer, or software engineer, or whether you were like process designer or solution architect or manager, you can give the role. And duration of the project is very important, whether it is like 2 months, 3 months, or 1 year, 2 years, and what are the applications that you have used in that particular project, and what is the language, or the what are the technologies that you have used for that particular project. So likewise, you can give the name of the projects. If there are few projects, then you can mention project 1, 2, 3, and whichever project you are very confident to explain, so it's better to give that project only. And project description is very important, because this is what, and from here only the interviewer will ask you question, what kind of logic you have used, what kind of technology you have used, and how you have handled the exception, or those kind of things. Moving to the next slide. So here I have given a simple example of invoice processing, which is part of retail or finance process. So how can you explain your particular process? You can say, or the project. Vendor sends the invoice copy via email post. Indexing team scan the invoice copies and index in CRM. Bot picks the current date invoice and matches the invoice number in the purchase or the number in SAP. It also checks whether the product or goods have been received on the warehouse based on the products. If the goods were received, it matches the product code, quantity, and the price of the goods. If everything matches, then it would reconcile the PO on the order and approves for the payment. If not, then it would create a task for the purchase order manager to check the products or the discrepancies. So this is a small example that I have given, because this is one of the most popular projects that, and most of the companies they have like finance or the accounts payable or the retail domain. So this is invoice processing is one of the major part of that particular process. So if you have any other projects also you can give, but if you don't have any confident how can you explain your particular projects, then you can refer this particular video so that you can go through it and you can explain this. Moving to the next one, this is a small sample solution design diagram that I have given. Although this is very high level, although I'm covering up all the invoice processing in a one slide, but it's as I told you, it's a very high level, so that's the reason. So how the bot is going to start, it will log into the CRM and copy all the tickets to the queue. Now here, since this is a generic RPA tutorial, so I have not mentioned for a particular tool, let's say for UiPath, the queue concept, although the concept is same, but the way you develop is entirely different for the automation anywhere and also for the Blue Prism. So it is very important for you to understand the queue concept. So maybe in the next video I'll come up with the queue concept. Let's say if you if you have to take the details from the particular CRM or from the Excel, then how you are copying that data, or how you are taking those data into the queue, and how the bot will take that particular line items one by one from a queue, and then how it will come back to the CRM to close that particular tickets. So I can explain you that in the next video, but it is very important, being an interview, even I have asked to so many candidates how they have done, so it is very important for you to understand the queue concept. So moving to the next one, taking the first case and download the invoice, and then copy the PO and invoice number from the invoice. If let's say there is no PO or invoice number is not matching, or it is improper or does not exist, then it will be a exception. If yes, then it will go into the SAP, and then it will go to that particular PO. It will match the PO between the PO number and the invoice number. So if all the details matched, then it will approve her the payment. If not, then it will go to the exception. So it is very important for you to understand, the exception, be it like business exception or technical exception, because whenever you are completing any particular process and you are creating a report, the business or the business user or the clients, their accepts their expectation from us would be, how many out of how many cases, how many were complete, how many are the exception, and what we have done for that particular exception. Was it the system exception, was it the business exception, and how we are, particular copying, how we are copying that status from which particular step. So it is very important for you to understand this one, because it finally you will have to create a report, and you'll have to take these details maybe from the queue, maybe from the process, maybe from the exception. So report creation is very important, and finally once you create the report, you can send that report attaching in an email, and then you can email back to the business or the SMEs or the client managers. So this is one of the simple examples, although as I told you, I have so many years of experience in RPA. If you want to understand, if you want to experience more live project for RPA, then you can obviously contact me or you can email me. So this is a small effort for me. This is a small effort, just to make you understand how the real-time projects will be for RPA. And although I have explained you in my previous video on PDD, SDD, and I'll come up in the next video on technical design document, and also I'll explain you more. I'll also come up, the part 2 of for this particular video. So thank you for watching this video. We also provide trainings on RPA and also support RPA related projects. So if you have any question on this RPA, and if you have any questions regarding how to choose a particular tool for a particular type of process or particular type of domain or industry, then we can explain you in a better way, because we have expertise on all these kind of things. So thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day. Bye.